Good evening. You're locked into another episode of the Red Sea podcast. We are here with the FAB4 Everton preview show. Liverpool go to Goodison in a potential grudge match, which saw Virgil van Dijk crash out through injury for a whole year. This game has got war written all over it. So without further ado, let's roll that intro and get stuck into the meat.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
Yes, guys, we are back with another episode of the Red Sea podcast. And today, it is your FAB4 preview show with three of us. Don't know how that works. FAB4. We're the FAB4. We normally have an opposition guest on this show. But what I want to do is I want to play a little clip.
This is our fourth person for the show.
And this is
we're all too scared.
Yeah. And this is why we don't have a fourth member. Yeah? Listen to this, guys.
I'm saying this is because why should I put my son through what's going to happen on Wednesday? It's not right for an 11-year-old. I'm not on my own. His best mate, he sits next to at the match, he goes to school with. I was talking to his dad today, and he's not going for exactly the same reason. If there's anyone from the board listening, I hope they're hanging their heads in shame.
They're all running for the fucking hills. That is why we don't have a rival fan on today. Because guess what? They're all shit scared. And I would be too. SS, hit us with the head-to-heads.
Absolutely. So, Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, probably one of the most one-sided fixtures in the Premier League, Liverpool-Everton. Liverpool, before last season, had not lost this fixture since 2010. So, been absolutely ridiculously dominant. Obviously, last time out, we did actually lose at home to Everton at Anfield. Richarlison putting them ahead after 3 minutes and Sigurdsson wrapping things up from the penalty spot 7 minutes from time, which was kind of Everton's trophy for that season, even though they finished, below us and didn't qualify for Europe or anything else. But as long as they beat Liverpool, they're happy. So we were in a little bit of a bad place at the time. I think we had Kabak and Henderson as our centre-back pairing, which kind of says it all where we were on that particular day. But in terms of this fixture in the Goodison game last year, obviously we all know that infamous game. 2-2, Mane putting us ahead after 3 minutes, Michael Keane equalising, and then that Sadio Mane goal that was ruled out for offside, which, let's be fair, was not offside, should have counted. And then basically Van Dijk, as you mentioned, mate, in the intro, gets absolutely taken out, assaulted, if you like, by Jordan Pickford.
Assault is the word I would use.
Bit of a strange one because it's like an offside. So they kind of don't give the foul, even though it's dangerous play, and it kind of wraps, kind of brushes it under the carpet when it's
a red card.
Like you say, even though play's stopped, if you've endangered an opponent that far, that badly, and it carried on, didn't it? Richarlison did the same thing to Thiago, and he was ruled out for a number of months as well. But we did end up taking the lead with Salah, 72nd minute, and then Calvert-Lewin did actually get one back and ended up 2-2 that day. So definitely a major stop on the revenge tour for me.
110%. And look, let's dive into the meat and the bones of this. Rafa Benitez to Everton. Now, when we all saw this, some sections of the fans were like, "No, it can't happen. He'll ruin his legendary status with Liverpool. It cannot happen." I, for one, was very relaxed. Yeah, was very, very, very relaxed. Because ultimately, I know Everton are a shithouse team. Doesn't matter who you put in charge. Yeah, they're never going to rival Liverpool. It's never going to happen. So I always knew it was a step down from where Rafa had been. Rafa's CV is impressive. Valencia, Liverpool, yeah, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Newcastle, Chelsea, yeah. He's managed Napoli. You know, he's managed at the highest level of the game for a sustained period of time. We're talking about teams which are constantly, bar Newcastle, in and around the European hunt. So Rafa is no mug. You know, he's a top draw, top tactician, arguably the creator of one of the best nights ever in our history as Liverpool fans. You know, 2005 was a beautiful, beautiful moment. And Rafa was there, culminating again in a second place finish in the league where we pushed Manchester United incredibly hard, followed by another return to a Champions League final the following year after that. The FA Cup win, the league, like, he's done so much for Liverpool. So for me, his legendary status will never, ever, ever be tarnished, whatever he does. But
he's still doing bits for Liverpool right now in my eyes.
I was going to say
he's still doing bits. He's still doing bits. He knows the assignment. He's on it.
I was going to say he is still doing amazing bits for the red side of Liverpool with the current results that are going on at Everton.
Well played.
So my question to you, Courtney B, is Everton are struggling to get results and the fan base seem very disgruntled, as we heard from that clip.
Yeah.
Is this doomed for Rafa Benitez? Are they going to sack him before Christmas?
Oh, sack him. I don't know about sacking him because, like you said, he's got the CV, but they were already a bit tetchy about him coming anyways because of his past with Liverpool. So I can see the fans calling for it. Whether the actual board will go through with it, I'm not too sure. Because who they're going to replace him with? Like, United are having this issue at the moment. They've got an interim, but who they actually want in there long term? It's hard to shop about nowadays. It's hard to find good managers. So I just think
the difference.
Who they're going to go for. So I don't know if I can see him getting sacked, but I just hope he carries on playing the way he's playing it.
So we've gone from Ollie's at the wheel to Rafa's at the wheel.
Rafa's undercover. Rafa's undercover.
This is where we're at. Now look, Courtney, you make a very, very good point in there. Like, who are they going to get? The difference is when you're at the top table in football, us, Manchester City, Chelsea, you know, we're shopping in Harrods. We're shopping in Selfridges. We're shopping in boutique, bougie stores. That's where we go. That's where we go to get our managers from. We go to bougie boutiques to get our managers. Even to a certain degree, Tottenham have managed to find a back entrance into Harrods and picked up themselves Antonio Conte. When you're Manchester United, when you're Everton, when you're Arsenal, you know, when you're trying to clamber back into that top tier of football. And look, we've been there. Roy Hodgson. Brendan Rodgers. Do you know what I mean? We've been in that position before, and somehow we bagged ourselves an absolute fucking bargain in Jurgen Klopp. I just don't think Everton have the ability to attract that caliber of manager, and Rafa Benitez is a big cop for them. That's a huge deal for Everton.
It's an interesting one because, you know, when they brought in Carlo Ancelotti, that was the guy that they needed to take them to that next level for me. He's, you know, the CV that you read out was fantastic, but, you know, he still only finished 10th with Everton last season in a year where we were ravaged by injury. You know, as we know, we only got 1 point from a possible 6 against Everton. So they had the best of it against us, but we still finished 10 points clear of them without having any centre-backs for, 6 months? So... yeah, it's a tricky one. It just seems like a bit of a poison chalice because I remember back in the Moyes days when Everton were probably the strongest they've been in my lifetime. You know, finishing 4th, qualifying for the Champions League, and then losing in the playoffs. You know, but even so, they didn't really spend too much money under Moyes. You know, it was all kind of wheeler dealer, clever signings. You know, Tim Cahill from Millwall. You know, that was probably their best player of that time. You know, Stephen Pienaar, all these people coming in that you've not really heard of, and good little bargains, and they were a good team. And, you know, since there's a really good comment there from Dan in the comments there. Since Mashiri came in, he's spot on. They've spent so much money. They've spent Man City, Chelsea level, Man United level of cash, and they've not really got anything to show for it at all. I look at their 11, and we were just talking about it off air, and it's such an average team. And you mentioned shopping in the bargain, Bucket and Harrods and stuff. They've got Salomon Rondon as their main striker.
Well, look. Let's not be too harsh on Rondon. I've met
That's
Rondon.
too nice. Nice.
I was lucky enough to meet Rondon. I actually had nearly an hour-long conversation with him in an airport in Miami. And he's a lovely bloke. It's funny because he said his most difficult opponent that he's ever come up against is Sadio Mane. So he respects Liverpool, obviously, but I just think that Solomon Rondon's in the twilight of his career, so coming towards the end of his career, as opposed to a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which is really at the very beginning of his career, who does possess a threat. But the issue is that Calvert-Lewin's out injured. Decore's been out injured. Let's have it as it is. Everton have had some injuries in some key positions on the park. But like you said, SS, we still can't get past the fact that they have spent some serious dough. They went out and got a sugar daddy. They were like, yeah, we need to make that step. So we need to go out and get ourselves a sugar daddy. Mashiri's like, I know someone. Let's go and get Usmanov. And Usmanov has got some serious money. He's been bankrolling Everton. And when you saw Carlo Ancelotti go in there, you thought, yeah, these guys could be a problem. They then sign James Rodriguez. They bring Decore in. Allen, who was a relatively unknown, but a bulldog of a CDM who's going to hunt you down. He works incredibly hard. Calvert-Lewin starts coming through because he's got Big Duncan showing him the ropes of how to be a dominant centre forward. Ben Godfrey. You then got the centre backs in Michael Keane and so on. So you thought they were really building something, and it's just stagnated. Like, it's not kicked on to the next level, and you just look and think there is no direction. When you look at Everton at the moment, you can't even associate that as being a Rafa Benitez side. Because if you look at how Rafa was in his Newcastle days, for example, you'd arguably say Newcastle and Everton are on a similar keel in terms of their sides. Newcastle were hard to beat. They were resilient. They'd sit everyone behind the ball and you'd have to break them down. Now Everton, you just cut through them with a fucking butter knife. Like, it's easy.
They're just going to be another team with a better stadium than team, aren't they? Eventually, they've just put all the money in the wrong places. There's so many flops because you've mentioned some decent players there that they have actually signed, but they change managers so often that they kind of get halfway to doing an Ancelotti project, and then goes in a project, and then Benitez comes in and he picks up an Allen, a Decore, and they start building something else. And then, as Courtney has said, already we think Rafa is in trouble. I always thought from the moment they appointed him, like you said, James, I didn't feel any kind of awfulness towards him in terms of a Liverpool fan perspective, because he's already gone on and managed Chelsea since he was with us. He kind of already crossed that bridge, of managing a rival. So he likes the city. I think he still has a home in Liverpool. So it made sense for him to kind of manage Everton. They're both kind of at the same place. Rafa's been there and is kind of on his way down. Everton are kind of there, but wanting to go up to where Benitez has been. So it's a tricky one to see where they improve. But some of those flops, it's 50 odd mil on Sigurdsson. God knows what's happened to him.
We know what's happened. We know what's happened to him.
We won't get into that one. But,
we know what's happened. He's in the same place Mendy is.
Yes. With Iwobi.
That five-a-side team's gonna be great.
Shocking, isn't it? I mean, Iwobi, Mina, Balassi, Moise Keane, Davy Klaassen, Alex Iwobi, 20, 30, 40, 50 million pound players that have contributed absolutely nothing. And they're now relying on Townsend and Damari Gray that have both come in for 1-2 million each. And, yes, they can have the old good game, but they aren't going to get you anywhere else from where you want to be.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, they're not players that you can build on top to reach the next level. And again, you look at it, and Liverpool as a city has always had an issue of attracting. Let's be honest, of attracting the top class talent. Yeah, in terms of ready-made players. We're not talking about players which we've manufactured. We're talking about ready-made players. Because what people always do is go, I want to play in London. I think back to when we lost Luis Suarez, and it was all but confirmed and done that we were going to get Alexis Sanchez. Nope. His wife puts the spanner in the works and says, I don't want to live in Liverpool. I want to live in London. And then you look at it again and you think to yourself, well, if it ain't London, it's Manchester for some unknown reason. But
it's a nice city.
I was going to say, Courtney will have something to say.
Manchester's horrendous. Manchester's horrendous.
It's a sick night out.
It is a nice city.
It's a terrible night out. Guys, I'm gonna throw it back to Thiago's father's 21st birthday, which was some time ago. I had the worst night out of my life in Manchester. I have never been back since. I will never set foot in Manchester. You've got to pay me some serious dough to ever go to Manchester again. And I want cash on delivery. I hate the place for a number of reasons. Not only their football teams. I hate the place. Anyway, we digress. Liverpool is much better. But I just feel that there is this this kind of inherent issue that people think that Liverpool's almost a step down, and it's not. It's really not. Liverpool is a beautiful city, has a lot to offer, and since kind of like the Klopp era, we're now seeing that we're able to attract top class, ready-made players in players like Thiago, Alisson Becker, coming to Liverpool. Things like that, but Everton are just kind of like the poor relation. How are they ever going to overthrow the dominancy of the red side of the Mersey to ever attract that caliber of player to punch weight with the top 2, 3, 4, 5, even the top 10 in the Premier League? You think about all those teams in the top 10, you'd probably all go there over Everton. Do you know what I mean? There just didn't seem any ambition in the project, so to speak. I mean, what's your thoughts, Courtney?
First of all, Manchester is a nice place to live. Liverpool is a nice place to live. I feel like there is Everton is one of them teams though that they're a nothing side at the minute. They're nothing. Like no one's really talking about them. Nothing's really going on. They're just nothing at the minute. They just keep getting beat. Like they've not won in their last 5 games, I don't think.
Yeah, you're right.
They've had 1 draw, that's about it. They're shocking at the minute, but no one seems to be talking about it. It's just kind of left. It's kind of like, you know what, that's just Everton now. They're shit now. It's one of them, we let them die off.
Yeah.
He was always doomed, wasn't he? I mean, Everton fans were always going to be a little bit upset about the appointment because of his history with Liverpool. And I think once things inevitably did go bad, they would always have a shorter fuse because of who he is. I think if this was Ancelotti, which, I mean, he didn't exactly do miles better than Benitez is doing, really. They'd be like, trust the process. A manager of this caliber, if he wasn't called Rafa Benitez, look where he's been, look what he's done, look what he's won. You'd say, at least give him the season. But we're sitting here saying, if he gets a pasting tomorrow night, he could be in serious trouble.
I believe so, because getting a pasting off another team than arguably your City rivals, and being the ex-manager of the rival team, surely it's going to lead to some difficult conversations.
A few more games.
Sorry?
Ollie got a pasted though, and he lasted a few more games.
True.
Yeah, that's because United is stupid. But never mind.
It could be a big nail in the coffin, couldn't it? If we whack them 5-0 and say the next 2-3 games they don't win, still he could be gone, couldn't he? Let's be fair.
100%, and that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? So, guys, just as we jog it on, let's talk about Everton's strengths. They've been active in the transfer window. They've brought. They've been active in the transfer window, guys. You never know. Famous last words. They might spring a surprise on us. Not, but never mind. Everton, famous last words and all that. But they've been active in the transfer window. They've brought in Solomon Rondon. They've brought in Andros Townsend. They've brought in Damari Gray. But like you said, they've still struggled to get results. Where is the threat from Everton coming from? We look at those players. Andros is a wide player. Gray is a wide player. Rondon, yes, he's a forward, but he's not of the same ilk as Calvert-Lewin. Is that their only outlet? Is that why they're struggling? Because Dominic Calvert-Lewin is too busy on shaving adverts and not on the football pitch. Is that why they're struggling?
That was brilliant.
No, that's what he's doing, mate. And to be
I'm wearing school dresses as well.
They're wearing school dresses for cover mags. But I'm not being honest. When I looked at the state of his face after he had a shave, I wouldn't be buying that fucking razor anyway. But never mind. The products are available.
I mean, for me, I look at the lineup in their last game against Brentford. Pickford in goal, England goalkeeper, Ben Godfrey, Michael Keane, not fantastic defenders, but decent mid-table Premier League team defenders. Lucas Digne is a good, solid, strong left back. Seamus Coleman was a good right back. I think he's probably past his peak now. Got Takore and Allen in midfield. Again, it's not going to set the world alight, but it's decent Premier League caliber. But for me, it's where do the goals come from? Because without Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, who's going to get you consistent goals?
Back.
He didn't play. He didn't feature against Brentford. Possibly. I mean, if he's back for Liverpool,
he was on a ban. I think he's back for the.
Is he back for this one? Yes. I mean,
he's
the only threat. He's the only threat.
I hate that guy. Oh mate, I hate that guy. Like he honestly, like just a moment, yeah. Like again, Thiago's father rant coming on. Like I'm not being funny. Of all the Brazilians in the Premier League, he's by far the fucking worst. Let's be real, yeah. So let's deep this. You got Firmino, who is the fucking king of Brazilians at the moment, yeah. You've got Fabinho, you've got Jesus, you've got Fernandinho, you've got Edison, you've got Rafinha, who's absolutely shutting it down at Leeds. Yeah. Then you've got this twat who thinks he's actually top tier. You're not top tier, son. Like you're not.
He does look around like he's Ballon d'Or level, doesn't he?
Yeah. He struts around the pitch like he's the freaking god of football. And I'm like, dude, you can't even lace Neymar's left freaking boot. Shut up, mate. Like
I don't even rate Neymar. Controversial.
Whoa.
Hang average there.
Whoa. Like Neymar is levels on different days of the week. Depends on what day of the week is. Just doesn't provide the consistency. That's Neymar's issue. But we digress. You are not on the level. Like if he spent more time actually honing his skills and focus on his game, he'd be a lot better. I just think you've got a player like Rafinha that's walked into the Premier League, been in the Premier League half the time as Richarlison, and is killing it. Is absolutely killing it. And Richarlison's just like, I'm at Everton. I've got a transfer from. He came from Watford, didn't he?
Yeah. I almost feel like he thinks he's too good for Everton. I think he feels like he should be at Barcelona or Real Madrid or Juventus or something. But like you say, he's not exactly lighting up the world where he is now. So no. Not for me.
Look, there you go. The comment in one. The attitude on Richarlison stinks.
He's so aggy as well. He's so aggy.
Mate, it's like literally, it's like he woke. Oh, mate, it's like he woke up with a stick up his ass.
Yeah.
Like honestly, fucking twat. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. I hate that tool. I honestly hope that like Milner. Where is it? There you go. I honestly hope that Milner puts a neutralizer on him. Like honestly,
interesting to see him play.
What Milner? I would love to see Milner play.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, hold on. Is this true? Is this actually true? Is this true? If this is true, can someone confirm this? They turned down 80 million for him. Can someone please confirm it? Yeah.
Who bid that?
Some guys in the comments. Ant Dicko, please confirm this source. Because if this is true, Everton are stupider than we think. Yeah. If this is true, please. Oh my God. There was the comments. Who bid
80 million?
Who bid this money?
What are you doing?
Please confirm who bid this level of money. Guys in the comments, please confirm.
That is wild.
Because Courtney said it himself. That is wild. Wild. 80 M's. 80 M's. You know,
Think of what you could buy with that money.
Barcelona.
Oh my sweet lord! No wonder they're in the mud.
Barcelona.
Wow,
my
look, back in 2019. Wow.
God. No one's offered 80 million for him now. I'll tell you that.
Jesus.
Oh god. But Barcelona has
Playing with
done
Monopoly money, I think.
Definitely could offer that for him now.
No. This was a stupid little rumor that was buzzing around because his agent was trying to push for a move, wasn't he? His agent was trying to push his price tag. It's all flooding back to me now. Barcassini, you have got a point. There was a stupid rumor flying around that Klopp had met with his agent or something. But weren't it that they just happened to be dining in the same place at the same time?
There's no way Klopp signs a player of that attitude, is there, for this Liverpool side?
But that's what I'm saying. And I'm sure it's something like they happened to be dining in the same place at the same time. And Richarlison came over and was like trying to suck off Klopp and say how good you are and so on and so forth and whatever. Not. And Klopp was like, yeah, hi. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, he was never on the shopping list. Barcassini, he could never be on the shopping list. Look, 100 million euros. How? Mate, literally. Ultra freestyle swordsman, you're a legend. You are a legend. If Richarlison is 80 million, then I'm claiming I'm 6'4", even though I'm 5'11". Love it. Look, and this tall. Look. Richarlison claimed he dribbled past.
That annoys me when I've seen that.
But this is the shithousery from this clown that I'm talking about. The bloke is a clown. Anyway. He's not. Look, yeah. Like how can we? Where do we go from this in this conversation and talking about this mug? But anyway, we digress. So yeah. Like, do you know what? Andros Townsend? I like Andros Townsend. I always have liked Andros Townsend. I think he's a hard worker. He's got a shot on him. He's an intelligent football player, and he's actually done all right at Everton based on their current standard of performances. Damari Gray was at Leicester, then went to Bayern Leverkusen and has come back to the Premier League in Everton as well. When he's played, he's looked bright and actually done all right. Those two actually seem like shrewd bits of business. Wasn't Damari Gray something stupid like 3.5 million or something?
Yeah, it's like £1 million or something, wasn't it? Something really low, yeah.
Like they like nicked him, which is decent business for a player who is still so young. So, you know, they're shrewd bits of business and kind of like those players which will push you on. But
they just have the limits, don't they?
That's what I was going to say. It just seems like they are limited. And without Calvert-Lewin in the side, they just look blunt. Like they just look like they've got nothing to offer going forward. Like it's hit and hope football.
Yeah, so, I agree. I think the problem that they're going to have is Calvert-Lewin, well, probably Richarlison's, but Calvert-Lewin especially, their ambition is going to grow quicker than Everton's quality of lineup. So I almost see them getting worse before they get better. A bit like, you know, you would expect Kane and Son to have moved on by now. They're very lucky that they've managed to hold on to them. But, you know, when we lost Suarez, we kind of had to accept it because we knew we were improving and going in the right direction. But we knew that Suarez's career was going to be on a faster track than Liverpool's improvement. So I feel that, you know, if they finish again, you know, they're 15th at the minute, like Courtney said, they're having an absolute shocker. They've not won in their last 5. I don't see that changing before Christmas. I think getting into the top half this season will be a decent finish for them. And, you know, Calvert-Lewin wants to play in the England team. He wants to play at the World Cup. He wants to start playing in Europe and in the Champions League. So I don't really see a way for Everton to get there anytime soon. You know, you mentioned it's a difficult place to attract players to. It's very similar to when Manchester City were trying to grow in Man United's shadow and Atletico have tried to grow in Real Madrid's shadow. It's so tough when that city is dominated by such a world stage team already that, yeah, you can bring in a Decore from Watford and bit part players, you know, decent little 1 million, 2 million players as well. But like you say, to sign ready-made players to take Everton from 15th to where they ultimately want to be with the money they've spent, which is in the Champions League. Let's be fair. I think they're gonna be going backwards before they go forwards.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's someone in the comments that wants some screen time, so let's give him some screen time. There you go, mate. Your 30 seconds of fame. Yeah, we move on. No, I totally agree with you, mate. I totally agree with you. It's difficult being in the shadow of Liverpool. You know, a staple club that is world renowned. How are Everton ever going to break that mold?
It's very tough.
So as we jog it on, and I'll come to you, Courtney. Will Virgil van Dijk get his revenge? In the fixture last season,
I pray.
You said he's going to score.
I pray, honestly.
I think so. I mean, in the fixture last season, VVD was what can only be described as assaulted by Jordan Pickford, which kept the Dutch defender out for a year. Will Liverpool continue the current form and put Everton to the sword?
Honestly, I feel like Virgil's going to have it in him, though. I feel like he's going to go out with that mentality and it's going to be a big, like, fuck you, Pickford. Honestly, and I hope to God he does it. Scores an absolute screamer. Even a 2 foot to the knee, like, I'll take that.
See how you like being out free, you prick.
I honestly think the battle is going to be immense. I can see the first corner, Virgil van Dijk standing right next to Pickford.
But,
like literally standing right next to him and say, right, let's go. Yeah. And he, do you know what I mean? Like, and getting
shitting himself. Let's be fair.
Pickford is going to be shitting himself. Like the whole, I mean, like I remember like the whole aftermath. He was like, I tried to reach out to him and say sorry. Get the fuck out of here, mate. You assaulted him. What makes you think he's going to want to accept an apology? All he wants to do is ram a ball down your throat from his fat forehead when he's embedding that into the back of the net. That's all he wants to do. That's all he wants to do. I mean, SS, what's your thoughts on this whole Pickford? Oh, he only had eyes for the ball and bollocks like that. It's just shithouse behaviour for a second-rate goalkeeper, really.
Absolutely, it's standard shithousery Derby day. You know, they took out Van Dijk, they took out Thiago. They knew what they were doing. You know, let's be honest. You know, if you can't match a team in ability, you have to find other ways to compete. And let's be fair, nobody could compete with Van Dijk before that injury, and very little people can compete with him after it. So, yeah, the ball was was not in play. It was offside, but he knew what he was doing. Nobody comes out like that naturally for a goal. For a ball as a goalkeeper with both your feet out in front of you, that's so unnatural.
As high as that.
Absolutely, you know, poor old Virgil was kind of like having to go back within himself, folding his knees the wrong way, and it's disgraceful. And I genuinely can't believe that, like Courtney said, just because the ball's not in play, it doesn't mean it's not a red card. Like if I go up to punch someone in the face on a football pitch because when the ball's out for a throw-in, I will still get sent off and banned for 6 games. So what's the difference? You know, it's dangerous play. So. Yeah, I agree. I think Van Dijk will come back. You know, he's definitely going to be playing in this game, and I really hope he gets one over him. Whether that's a header or a little bit of a coming together in the box, flatten him, because obviously it's the first time that they've been on the pitch together since that awful day. So not just Van Dijk, but I think the whole Liverpool team will be behind him, and everyone will be out to try and leave one on him. To be fair, because let's be fair, he deserves it.
I agree. This comment here, Pickford is overrated, baffling how Ramsdale isn't England #1. Pickford's better than him. I'll leave that there.
Not a lot between them, is there?
Pickford, like, as much as it pains me to say, Pickford is better than Ramsdale.
I think he's just been around a bit longer, isn't he? That's why.
Yeah, Aaron Ramsdale hasn't done enough. Aaron Ramsdale, in terms of his England aspirations, is in the same places as Henderson at Manchester United. He's in the same places as Nick Pope at Burnley. Pickford's got to a European Championship final, being the England goalkeeper. It deserves a bit of credit. As much as I hate him, it deserves a little bit of credit. And yes, Aaron Ramsdale is playing some half decent football at the moment, but Pickford's got a lot of credit in the bank where England's concerned. So for me, Aaron Ramsdale needs to get Arsenal back into Europe before he can even talk about trying to be England #1, respectfully. But yeah, we digress. Yeah, let's be real. Ramsdale makes so dramatic. Here it is. Look, here it is. My whole point. Let's be real. Yeah, Ramsdale makes so many dramatic saves over shots that are straight at him. I put a tweet out the other day about this. and it was anyone can dive around between two sticks,
Yeah, so
and make it look dramatic. Alisson saves that with 2 steps and makes it look routine.
Yeah,
Ramsdale, get out of here, man.
Spot on.
Get out of here. And that's the difference between being a world-class goalkeeper and being Aaron Ramsdale or even Jordan Pickford. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Like you were saying, this fixture is all about revenge now. It is all about revenge. We think about the season that we had and last season, and it's all roads lead to that game.
Yeah.
That was the start of the end for Liverpool. And Klopp is going to, Klopp's an emotional manager anyway. Whilst he's in a press conference saying, I don't like this game, it's too heated, it's like war, it's too fired up. He's going to be in that dressing room pumping those players up, yeah, with that positive aggression that we associate with Jurgen Klopp sides and Liverpool sides over the last 4 or 5 years. We're going to be looking to bag some goals tomorrow. Like, we're going to be looking to put a lot of goals past these boys just to kind of solidify our position as being, title contenders, number 1. Number 2, being a better team in the city. And number 3, just saying, hold on a second. If that hadn't happened last season, then the outcome would have been very, very different. I mean, SS, where do you stand on that? Are we going to see another goal fest for Liverpool?
I think so. Going back to your recording of the Everton fan on your phone, I mean, all predictions lead to how many is it going to be, and that's been a bit of a theme, isn't it, with Liverpool? In the Premier League recently, 4-0 against Southampton, 4-0 against Arsenal. Routine through in the Champions League as well. And I think before Vardy's brace at the weekend, the top 3 goal scorers in the Premier League were Liverpool's current front 3. So there's no reason that's gonna end now. We're playing Everton at the perfect time. They're in dreadful form. When you're on the back of five games without a win, the last thing you want to do is host Liverpool. So I don't see it slowing down. I think they're a point around Southampton, so it's going to be a similar challenge. Obviously, they're going to be up for it more than they would be any other game because of who they're playing against. But the quality, even in the rotation now, because we saw Milner and Chamberlain come off the bench against Southampton, could they potentially feature? So I feel we've got more than enough, whatever 11 we put out. There's 13, 14 players currently kind of featuring fairly regularly as well. And yeah, if it's not Jota, it's Salah. If it's not Salah, it's Mane. We've got Henderson that's creating. We've got Thiago that's now popping up with goals. So yeah, I think it should be a pretty routine win, and yeah, a massive tick on that Revenge Tour t-shirt.
So question, Courtney B. We look at the Everton side. We look at the Liverpool side, and as SS discussed just there or mentioned there, the strength in depth which we're showing at the moment in terms of our rotation policy. Klopp turns around and says, "Do you know what, Verge? I don't want to risk you in this fixture. It's a shithouse game. Yeah, I'm gonna put Konate in. I'm gonna put Matip in. Do you know what, Thiago? I don't want to risk you in this fixture. I'm gonna put Milner and Ox in there." Can Klopp turn round to Verge, number 1, or to Thiago, number 2, and say, "Sorry, lads, I just can't risk you in this game"? They're going to be on it for this.
Yeah.
They're going to be up for it, no?
They're vexed.
This is what I'm saying.
If it was me, I would want revenge. I'd be like, I'm coming for you. Yeah. And he would have been pre-planning this in his recovery. When he's on that bike and he's recovering, he'll be thinking, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. When I'm back, when I'm fit, I'm giving it.
Yeah.
But I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
And I think Klopp knows that's the kind of mindset that he will have. So I don't think you can take that away from him. So, this bubble wrap all his muscles up, do everything, send him out there ready for war.
And this is my dilemma. This is my dilemma. This is my point. There's plenty of ways to skin a cat. Like the revenge tour concludes for me when we lift that title. If and when we lift that title, that's when the revenge tour is over. So there's a bigger picture. Yes, you want to go into that game and you want to win the battle, but surely you want to win the war more. You
Yeah.
want to win the war. Surely we could turn around at the end of the season and go, do you know what, Everton, you shithouses? We've now got if we make it that far and we win another title, we're now on 20 league titles and you've got none. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Surely that makes it more a bit. Surely that's more special. And if you went to a player of Verge's caliber, an elite level player, and said, "Listen, mate, I just don't want to risk you in this fixture. The boys can take care of it. Put your feet up. We've got a big game coming up on the weekend. I just don't want to risk you." Or is Verge going to go, "Coach, what are you doing to me? I want to ram a ball down his throat."
I'm just petty as fuck. Honestly, I am so bad when it comes to football. Like if one of the girls gets a bad challenge put on her, I just tell her, I'm gonna get him. Don't you worry about it. I'm taking everything. I am that type of person. Like, if do one thing, that's it. I'm taking you out. Like, that is just how I am. So I just couldn't imagine Big Verge, being like, "Yeah, okay, boss." Like, no.
SS, what are you thinking?
I think you're both right. I don't think Van Dijk is going to miss out. He's definitely going to play. You play your big leaders in games like this. Henderson will play, Van Dijk will play, but we've seen Klopp rotate heavily against Everton before. I think we battered them 5-2 with Origi and Shaqiri as the main goal threats. So we have seen it in the past. He doesn't look at this Everton Liverpool game as a Liverpool Man City game or a Liverpool Chelsea game. I think
because it's not. I don't either.
Not. No, I don't think he looks at it like, oh, this is one of the biggest games on Liverpool fans' calendar. I think he looks at it as this is the 13th, 14th, 15th best team in the Premier League. So if I have a chance to rotate a couple of players, I will. So I don't think Van Dijk and Henderson miss out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Milner, a Chamberlain, a Minamino potentially start in this game.
And this is just it. He's almost damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Because if he doesn't play Verge and he doesn't play, say, Thiago, and Everton strike it lucky and sting us with a 1-0 win, the papers are going to be going mental. But if he does play him, we win the fixture, but Verge limps out again through a shithouse tackle, and the potential knock-on effect that had for our season last time is going to be damned anyway. It just depends on which way you want to take your medicine. Do you know what I mean? What way do you want to die? By sword or by gun? You're going to die anyway. Do you
want him to think that Verge is scared?
Exactly.
Yeah. Courtney's about the beef.
I'll clear for him.
Oh, man.
5 minutes. I'll get revenge for him. I was going to say, "Oh, it's fine."
I could imagine Courtney on a night out, like, "Who stepped on your shoe? Who stepped on your shoe?"
Oh.
I'll have him.
Let's go and find him.
There's no way that Van Dijk and Henderson don't start. But if a Mane missed out, if Thiago dropped out because he's played a lot recently,
yeah,
I think that there will be rotation. So yeah, like you say, Milner is one of them players that you want in the battle. He's not going to be a major player in the war because he can't play every single week. But when it's the battles, the big stops in the battle on your way to winning the war, players like that are, just as important.
I totally agree. So guys, let's jog it on slightly. Expected lineup. So obviously rotation has been a figment of Liverpool's approach this season. Will we see more changes? I mean, I want to see the Ox play. I want to see the Ox back in. Only because when he has come in, he's been excellent. Like we can't sit here and ignore this. He's been excellent when he's played. He's done what's required of him. We're starting to see that, and I've said this before, we're starting to see that 2018 Oxlade vibe. The only thing that we're missing is a banger. That's the only thing that we're missing is an absolute screamer from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Yeah, from outside the box, for him to do that little kind of run where he puts his arms out and he swings the hand and all of that to say, "Listen, boys, it's always been there." So I want to see Ox play. I'd like to see Matip come back in. And I do want Verge to play. Only because I think he needs it. That goal last week against Southampton is nicely kind of rumbling up to like a Virgil van Dijk masterclass against Everton, to be fair. And I think he needs it. In the forward positions, again, we're pretty limited because of obviously the injury to Firmino, and obviously Origi just isn't really cutting the mustard at the moment. But for some reason, Origi likes Everton. He likes playing against Everton. He likes playing against Everton. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Origi play some part. And after you see an interview from Klopp after with that big smile going, saying exactly what I just said, that Divock likes playing against Everton, so I played him. Do you know what I mean? So
Liverpool legend.
Yeah. Oh God. But yeah.
Do it one more time. Do it one more time.
Go on.
Later on.
Soundbite.
I'll drop it later.
But no, you're right though. You can see for some reason Divock managing to pull a game and maybe bagging like a Hattie or something stupid like that, going, right, that's my work done for the whole season. I'm just gonna sit on my paycheck now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I want to see a little bit of rotation. Just because the games are starting to come thick and fast now. We're heading into the busy December fixture period.
A lot of games. It's like 9 games in December.
A lot of games. So what, we got Everton? Was it Wolves next?
Wolves after that, the weekend. Yeah.
Then it's Villa.
I think so.
Yeah, on the 11th, it's Villa.
Villa.
Leeds,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, lots of big games.
Then Leeds. We've got Spurs sandwich somewhere in there, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So there's some serious games coming up. So I think rotation at this period is going to be key. I mean, Courtney, how do you see it in terms of starters and people dropping to the bench? And there's one in here from where is it? Let me find it.
Is it about Simicast?
I'm about to open. I'm about to open Pandora's box. Where is it?
I was still thinking about Ultra Swordsman's comment about Van Dijk coming out to the Triple H theme song. That is amazing.
Here it is. Oh, by the way, if anybody says Tsimikas should start against Everton tomorrow, instant dislike. Ultra Freestyle Swordsman, I love you, bro. You've been here from the beginning, supporting, plugging away. Top guy. You are a serious Red Sea podcast supporter. But Tsimikas has to start on the weekend. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. And don't dislike the video because my co-hosts may have a different...
Go on, Courtney. What are you doing?
Different point on this.
I'd start Robbo.
Okay.
Might go get my shirt quick.
SS, are you for starting Robbo as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'll let Courtney obviously carry on with her team, and
he's got a bit of momentum behind him. He had a great game.
Sensational.
I feel like he needs the momentum behind it. I feel like he needs, because he's been getting the clout for it. Everyone's been giving him clout for it. I feel like he needs it. I feel like for his confidence as a player, I feel like he needs another good run out.
Yeah.
And to just absolutely boss it.
Yeah.
And get that clout. I feel like he needs it. And I feel like for the momentum, I feel like he should start.
You make a very, very good point. SS, I'll come to you before I respond.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you have to be very careful between rotation and consistency.
Yes.
You know, if you just keep chopping and changing Tsimikas and Robertson every game, none of them can get a consistency. And the way to win a title is a consistent back four. You know, if you can't name the back four that's played the majority of the season, you're unlikely that you've won the league. So Courtney's spot on. I think, you know, if Robertson had a bad game against Southampton, then it would make sense to bring Costas back in. But that was the Robertson that we hadn't seen for a while, that we knew was there, and he had a really good game. And yeah, he's gonna need to carry on that momentum. And you know, we've got Wolves at the weekend. Tsimikas could play there.
And this, you know what? I knew you would do this. This is you just teed it up lovely. Just fell right into my net of destruction. It's just like, I agree with everything you guys both said there. The challenge is when do you play Tsimikas? Because at some point he's got to play. So of those two fixtures, I would rather see Tsimikas play against Everton, because I respect Wolves more than I respect Everton. I respect the threat that Wolves have more than I respect the threat that Everton has. This is why I think that the Everton fixture would be set up nicely for Tsimikas, but then the Wolves fixture will be set up nicely for Robbo. You then get sustained momentum heading into Villa. Yeah. So you want Robbo for Wolves and Villa, Tsimikas for this game here. Or otherwise, failing that, you play Robbo in Everton, Wolves, and Villa. But then when does Tsimikas play again? Maybe against Milan in the Champions League.
It's a derby though. At the end of the day, you need a leader on the pitch. Robbo is a leader.
Yeah.
No, I see it.
Scrappy, shitty games. Like I
Yeah.
feel like he needs to be on the pitch.
It's a shithouse game, isn't it? He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah. No, he does love it. No, and look, for me in this, there is no wrong or right answer, and this is a beautiful place to be. Like we've not been in this position for years. The last time we've been in a position where we can have rotational conversations about fullbacks, about defensive players, midfield players, strikers, has got to be the season we finished second to Manchester United under Benitez, because we had a sensational squad. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Aurelio, Risa, Hupia, Skirtle, Carragher. Yeah, it was decent, wasn't it?
It was serious. That was serious. Alonso, Mascherano, Gerrard, Torres, Riera. Mate, it was unreal. Like the squad depth was decent as well. You know, you got De Sena coming in and was bagging goals and all sorts. And, do you know what I mean?
Don't bring him up, bloody hell.
No, but mate, when he came in,
yeah, the week of his life, that was it.
When he came in, he was okay in his performances. But the key thing is we have not been in a position for such a long time where we could even utter the word rotation. The word rotation was a swear word for a long time for Liverpool. So it's a great place to be to have these kind of conversations. So there is no wrong or right answer for me. It's just a case of who plays in what games. So looking at it, if you're divvying it up, you do throw Tsimikas in against Everton. You play Robbo against Wolves, and then Villa. But then Tsimikas plays against AC Milan, or Robbo plays the 3 Prem games and Tsimikas plays AC Milan. There's a, do you know what I mean?
It's a tricky one, though, isn't it? Because we had the opposite conversation with Costas. We said, oh, he had a good game, so it's not fair to drop him. You know, why should Robertson just come back in? So on the flip side, like we've just said, Robertson's just had a really good game against Southampton. Something that we dropped him for a reaction because we needed it. Everybody was saying, and it worked. So
that's to us, not
exactly. So how can the reward be? You did everything you should have done. You got your head down in training. You improved. You put a good 90 minutes in, but I'm dropping you for the derby. And you'd be like, why? What have I done?
Again, I agree. But why was Costas dropped in the first place?
I think Costas
only because Robbo is who he is.
A bit, but I don't think Costas was amazing in his last game that he started either.
He's not lost a game since
he's not lost a game. No, but I just think overall, like we said, player versus player, Robertson is the first choice. Tsimikas is the backup. Rotation is great.
Agreed.
But Robertson is going to, hopefully play 75% of the season, isn't he? And Tsimikas to 25.
We knew we was always just waiting for Robbo to get back to Robbo.
Yeah.
We knew that was the case. We knew it was. Like he just wasn't performing the way that he has been previously, and he was tired. Like he'd been playing so many games and he's had that well-needed break that he had, and now he's back on it.
Yeah.
And he's ready to go.
It's good because there's
fire in his belly.
Agreed, and we're in a very, very strong position across the season as a whole. Not just going into the Everton game. We're still in the League Cup. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the Champions League, Premier League. So we're challenging on all fronts. So there is plenty of football for Tsimikas to play. There's plenty of football for Tsimikas to play. Is he going to play in every single cup game? Probably. Unless if we get to the final, but it would be very unfair to drop him if we get into the final. But he's going to play in every single cup game. Probably. Is he going to play in every single FA Cup game? Likely. Is he going to play still in a percent of Champions League games? Probably. The Premier League games where you're playing against what you would constitute as weaker opposition. This is the Premier League, so anyone can get it on any single day. Tsimikas may come into those games. So I do wholeheartedly believe the derby effect, the fact that it is a derby, the fact that there is so much emotion now tied to this game. If this game, it was always called the friendly derby, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But this is no longer friendly. This is war now. This isn't friendly anymore. Yeah. This is a case of You crooked one of our players. You tried to crook another. So now you're going to get the smoke. So you're right. We need to go out with the strongest team to do that.
We've got 9 fixtures in December. Yeah, you'd probably say Robertson will start 6 and Tsimikas will start 3. I think that's kind of what a backup should be offering.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think the bearing on this is the fact that this game now has a lot riding on it in terms of pride. There's a lot of pride in this. Robbo, again, like you said, Courtney, is a leader. You know, there was one in here as well. Robbo's aggression is going to be needed. Totally. He's going to be getting on to them. We may see one of those vintage Robbo presses where he chases down the whole opposition. Mate, I'm here for it. Because if we see that, that's going to be amazing.
I'm feeling a Robbo assist tomorrow, I've got to say.
Oh, well, he got one. He grabbed one at the weekend, didn't he? So, you know, why can't he help himself to another? But, guys, we're moving into the last part of the show. And before we get to the part of the SS, he's already got his notepad out.
It's keeping tally on everyone.
Oh god! Have you got a notepad down there, SS?
No, I was just looking at the Liverpool lineup to try if you were going to make me predict my 11, just in case you needed, just in case you were.
I honestly thought, listen, I had a flash in my head that he just picked up a pen, a red pen, and wrote down his score prediction and circled it.
I didn't know. No, not one for pen and paper.
Mate, I listen, honestly, I have visions of you like a little flip thing, and you like little red, little tally, and then you just like you have like 2 or 3 scores written down. You just start like jotting between the two. Oh, is it going to be 4? Is it going to be 5? I don't know whether to go with a goal against or a goal for. Which one should I pick?
Oh gosh, you got the voice on pretty spot on.
Oh god! Right, before we get into that, guys, just so you know, we've really enjoyed these little Q&A sessions that we've done over the last couple of shows that we've done. This is going to be a super quick one, and I know a hot topic is Ballon d'Or nominations. Mate,
7th. I mean, are you serious?
This not okay.
The disrespect.
Take Mo out the equation for a hot second. Take Mo out the equation for just one hot second. The very fact that Messi lifted a 7th is a total shambles. Like the Ballon d'Or as a competition is now in the mud.
Yeah,
it's in the mud. It's pointless. Like, how did that not go to Lewandowski? How did it not?
What more does he have to do?
How does it not? Explain to me. Yeah. Messi had arguably the worst season he's ever had in a Barcelona shirt. The worst. See, eliminated from the Champions League early doors. Yeah. Where did they finish in La Liga? Like 3rd.
Yeah.
Like 3rd in La Liga. Yeah.
When he's only just scored his first league goal for PSG. Bloody hell.
But I'm not being funny. That's bollocks. Messi knew I have to move to PSG. Yeah. If I move to PSG, as Lionel Messi, I'm bagging Ballon d'Or because it's a French competition.
Yeah, true that.
So he knows if he moves there, he's bagging Ballon d'Or. Like, come on. I'm not being funny. Like, I'm a Liverpool fan, but Ronaldo's better than him. Like, Ronaldo's better than him. That is a disrespect. And for me personally, that trophy should have been Lewandowski's. The season before when Messi won it, it should have been Virgil van Dijk's. Yeah. And Messi won it again. It's just what have you got to do?
How has he won 7? I mean, come on, 7 during a time where Ronaldo and Messi have been the 2 best players in the world, and Ronaldo's won 5. So there's 7 years that Messi's won this award, and for some of them, yes, at least the first 4 or 5.
I'll give him 5.
The last 2,
I'll give him 5. The last 2, I'll give him 5.
Yeah, I agree.
But the last 2 have been complete and utter bollocks. Yeah. That is a case of voting for your friend. Yeah, not voting for who's been the best football player on the planet. That's voting for your friend. The other one. How is Jorginho 3rd?
Honestly, as soon as I've seen that, I will. Are they taking the piss?
Are you taking the actual piss?
I mean, he played for Italy and Chelsea, and they won the 2 best trophies. It's not who plays for the best team award; it's the best player.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a rat's. Like I was even disgusted when Luka Modric won one. I was even disgusted then when
Ridiculous.
Luka Modric won one. But you're like Jorginho third. There was some people making shouts that he should win the Ballon d'Or. Jorginho is shit and displayed every moment of being shit when he couldn't pluck a ball 20 feet out of the air. Like,
Yeah, but playing well, mate. To be fair.
Oh, mate, you know when someone kicks a ball up and says, "How's your mum?" His mum's dead. like that, mate. You just killed your mum, son. That's how bad your touch is. You just killed your mum.
Shocking.
Like, mate, shocking. And then to make it worse, yeah, there was no desire to even get back and stop the counter attack. He just stood with his hands on his head.
He just was like, fuck it.
That's even as bad. Look, I'm sorry. That goes down just as bad as Stevie slip. At least Stevie got up and tried to fight to get the ball back. Yeah, you daft twat. Just stood there and gone, "Oh, don't worry about it. They'll sort it out. Never mind. I'm win. Don't worry, guys. I'm coming third in the Ballon d'Or on the weekend. It don't matter."
Shambles. Nah, for me,
shambles.
For me, my top three, I think Lewandowski was by far and away the best that should have won. I think Salah was definitely second in terms of how he's been. And if I had to pick a third, I think Karim Benzema probably would be up there with his numbers as well. That would probably be my top three.
Yeah. I couldn't argue anything different to that. I think Lewandowski deserves it. You know, the competition was I saw an interesting one on Facebook. This will tickle you. There was a guy who basically wrote like a dossier of why the Ballon d'Or is just shit, and I agreed with every single point. One of the points that was on there is how did the American election still go ahead in 2020 in the midst of COVID, and they were able to calculate like 3 billion whatever postal ballots, and the Ballon d'Or couldn't get together 100 player votes. Yeah. Like, how? It's rigged. It is rigged. Like, and you know what? In 10 or 15 years' time, this will be a football scandal where Messi's face will be on the front of the papers, like Seb Blatter's and all the rest of them going, "Ballon d'Or scandal." Do you know what I mean? Because it's rigged. It's rigged. Like, do you remember when he won the player of the tournament in the World Cup? I think it was. I'm like, the World Cup is sponsored by Adidas, and you're sponsored by Adidas. Like,
didn't have a good tournament, did he?
He had a shit tournament. He was horrendous, like he typically is at international football. And all of a sudden, I think did Argentina win the Copa or something?
Yeah.
And now
saying that's the reason why he's got it.
Bollocks! Ronaldo won the Euros. He didn't win the Ballon d'Or in the season that he won the Euros, or did he? But it just like, come on, man, this is bollocks. As far as I'm concerned, Mohamed Salah, right now, in the here and now, is the best player in world football. In the here and now, yeah. The proof in the pudding is going to be we'll give this year a bly. Yeah, we'll give this year a bly. The proof in the pudding will be if he does not lift that Ballon d'Or, yeah, next season, because he's done enough. He's got bare credit in the bank. He's got tons of credit in the bank for next season. If he don't lift that Ballon d'Or next season, we know where it's at.
I mean, look at the numbers Lewandowski's dropped for 2, 3, 4 seasons, and he's even got one. So I wouldn't count on it.
That's what I'm saying. And again, if you know, do you know what? It wouldn't put it past me if all of a sudden they go, "Oh, Ronaldo's been sensational at Manchester. he won them the FA Cup, Ballon d'Or nominee." Like, come on.
He might not even be in the World Cup.
Look, I'm saying he's won them the freaking FA. He's won them if he wins Manchester United the FA Cup, he'll probably win the Ballon d'Or. That's all it's got. That's all it's got to do now.
It's just a popularity contest, isn't it? It's journalists that vote for it, and as you've correctly said, mate, it's a French award. So all the French journalists want a French league player to win it. I mean, when's the last time a player from playing in the French league won it? It's probably been a while. So it was always going to be him, wasn't it?
Exactly. And one of the major publications in regards to the Ballon d'Or, one of the journalists in one of their columnists in there leaked a story saying how Cristiano Ronaldo's sole goal is to end his career with more Ballon d'Ors than Messi. I was like, when you see that kind of stuff, you know where it's at. It's just shithouse behavior. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Anyway, score predictions. Courtney B.
You can go first. Go on. You never go first.
You're right. You're right. I never go first. But guess what? I write the agenda. That's why I don't go first on purpose. Because I write the agenda, fool.
Honestly, you know what? I ain't scared.
What's your score prediction?
I'm gonna go 3-0 Liverpool.
Okay. Yes, Sean. Yes, Shawnee B. So senior Barker's come in early doors with a 4-0.
I like the goal scoring defenders as well.
I do too. Come on, Verge has got to get one. Verge has got to get one. Big shout out to you, Daddy Pig. Better late than never, but welcome. SS. Get your notepad out then.
I mean, I love the evening atmosphere. Derby day under the lights. I think Liverpool tell them a new one. I don't see Everton scoring a goal. I don't see who scores. I don't see how they're going to stop Mane, Salah, Jota. I think even Minamino could get on the score sheet tomorrow. I wouldn't even be surprised if he started. So I'm going to go with a massive 5-0.
Oh, ballsy.
Mate, listen, you're normally Mr. No, it's going to be a nice 2-0.
Exactly.
It's going to be a cagey affair. Is what you know. Is where you normally are at.
No, I'm all for it, mate. It's coming. They've got absolutely nothing on us. We're in really good form. They're in shocking form. It's going to be a landslide.
Hold on, did I just read that tweet right? I flashed that tweet down and popped it out. I was like, hold on, did I just read that right?
There might be a little bit of sarcasm in there from.
Will be. I hope so. Please explain yourself. Please explain yourself. Score prediction.
This is why he goes last. That he can hit ours.
He has a little. Yeah.
You go off. That's when he picks his. Honestly,
exactly.
He's the one that's trying to fix this shit now. It's not you no more. It's him.
Exactly. Thank you.
I can see it.
Exactly. He's got your number, mate.
Listen, boys and girls. I was gonna turn around and go, I ain't gonna give a score prediction today. That's what I was gonna say. I ain't gonna give one because I don't know. All I care about, is that Jordan Pickford gets clattered. That's what I'm here for.
You can't chicken out and not give a prediction.
Yeah,
that's what
you wrote the agenda, and on your agenda you put prediction. So
Courtney's got you, mate. She has got you there twice, to be fair.
Okay, Courtney.
Yeah.
She's got you.
Calm down. Right. Okay. Score predictions. Who and where and what? Right. Do you know what? It's either going to be one or two things. It's either going to be one of them shitty, like the Divock Origi 1-0 jobby. It's either going to be like that. Yeah, or it's going to be emphatic. Like they're either going to get one of those, or they're going to get put to the sword. So, I mean, we're scoring at will. So I would go with the fact that they could just get carved apart, and I think it's going to be 4-1.
Okay,
I think they'll get a goal.
I think they'll get a horrible, scrappy goal. Because, let's be honest, set pieces for us is a bit of an Achilles heel at the moment. So, I'm not. I wouldn't put it past them, mate. I wouldn't put it past them. The total shithouse behaviour that we're seeing at the moment from Courtney right now.
Could take over at the minute.
Yeah, I know. Like, mate, she's talking about tearing players new ones and all sorts. So listen, you're not on the football pitch now, love.
Dominating.
No, I just think that it's going to be a shithouse. It's going to be like a shithouse game. So I reckon they're going to get a scrappy goal. Like I said, set pieces are really an Achilles for us at the moment. And you know what Rafa's like with his set pieces. I think he'll look to use that as an outlet. I also think they'll park all 10 men behind the ball, 11 men behind the ball. So it's going to be difficult to break them down. But I reckon we get the job done, and I'm going to go 4-1.
Cool. I've just got one question for Courtney before we go. A little bit unrelated. Obviously, you play ladies football. Why are England playing Latvia and winning 20-0?
Wow.
I don't women's football. Like I play it, but I don't particularly say I like women's football. But I did see there's been some mad scores. There was another one. It was like 19-0.
Yeah, what's going on? Well, I just wondered if you had any insight on that.
There's a team in my league that we're a few games in and they're on minus 62 goal difference. So.
Wow.
You know, because they were talking about it on Talk Sport. I was driving home, England versus Latvia in a World Cup qualifier, and they've won 20-0. What's going on there? I mean, I know England beat San Marino 10-0, but you know, 20.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
In girls football, you feel like that sometimes. Like,
is there just a massive gulf? Is there only like 10 nations that have serious lady teams in Europe? Is there potentially, or is
probably? I'm guessing so.
The rest of them are obviously making up the numbers.
Like your South American teams, they're quite good normally.
Yeah, like you say, Germany are good. Brazil.
Wow. So
America.
So look at this then. So you've got Republic of Ireland did Georgia 11-0. You've then got Spain women did Scotland women 8-0. And then you got England women have done Latvian women 20-0.
That's got to be a record.
You then got Switzerland have done Lithuania women 7-0.
Yeah, it's just
like, come
on.
Big score in the girls' league.
They basically don't need a qualifying campaign, do they? Because there's clearly only enough to make the tournament. You know,
well,
from the start.
I've got a tact on this really, really quickly. I remember watching an interview with Joey Barton, and he made a very, very good point. Joey Barton has a lot of things, but he actually made a very, very good point on ladies football, and how to make ladies football more entertaining and more competitive.
I'm all for women's football. Like, I love
great. Women's football.
I don't like seeing scores like that because it undermines it a little bit, doesn't it? That's
exactly.
all. I want to get Courtney's thoughts on it.
So Courtney, what's your thoughts on this? Yeah, I reckon ladies should play with a smaller ball. So not a size 5. They should play with a size 4. Yeah, because what that will allow them to do is get more deviation. You allow them to spray those raking balls and all of that. Not to say that women can't do it. It would make it easier for them to do it. Yeah. I also think that ladies should play in a junior size big goal, because you've got the big 11-a-side goals, and they do a junior size version of that, which is marginally smaller and a slightly smaller pitch. I think that would make the women's game very entertaining, a lot more end to end than it currently is. I mean, what's your thoughts, being someone who plays ladies football? Because that there is stupid. 20-0. Surely playing on a slightly smaller pitch, slightly smaller goals would complicate it a little bit more for England and make it and maybe even it up a little bit for those girls. Do you know what I mean? Because you do see these goals.
I know what you're saying, but personally, I think it's just about quality. There's countries that don't put anything into women's football.
Yeah, true.
A lot of countries where girls have never even seen a football. And then you get your teams like England, where we've got quite good women's football here now. Like, women are getting paid quite a lot. Like, county level is quite good level. Especially like Lancashire is really good at county level. So I just think it's more of a case of that gap in between. Whereas men's football is worldwide, so you get quality players from everywhere. Whereas you don't with women. I don't think changing the size of the ball. I wouldn't personally want to play with a smaller ball. And in terms of net size, I think that's just basically goalkeeping.
Don't you think that women's football, and again, I know we've overrun slightly, but it's an interesting topic, but don't you think that women's football spends too much time trying to replicate the men's game rather than make it their own? Like, you've seen recently the investment in the WSL, which is huge. That's massive. Yeah, and it's great. You're now starting to see WSL games on TV that we've never seen before. Things like that. Women's football shows. Starting to see women's pundits. Yourself on this show is a big step forward. That's massive. But I just think that the women's game for some reason is almost trying to mold itself around the successes of the men's game, when realistically it should kind of forge its own path. Do you know what I mean?
But then, say tennis, do women play in a different court to men?
No, and again,
basketball, do women play in a different court size to men?
No, I agree. I agree.
There's different sports. I think that's the sport. Those are the rules. That's how you take it on. It's gender. It's just gender. That's the only difference that should be.
No, I agree with you.
I don't find watching women's football as entertaining. I know that when I was younger, my brother, he played for Ake, and I used to play Sunday League, and my dad preferred coming and watching my games than my brother's because he found them more entertaining.
I think you're spot on with the finance thing, to be fair, because like you say, women's football in terms of a professional sport is a lot newer to the world than the men's. So you look at the countries and the countries that you listed off there, James. You've got England, you've got Germany, you've got the USA, you've got Brazil. They've got serious investment over probably a couple of decades in the sport. And you mentioned
the women are better in the USA than the men.
There you go. And you've got countries like you mentioned again. You've got Latvia, Scotland, who are kind of late to the party in women's football, and it's such a big gap already. I would imagine Latvia aren't even a professional side with a score like that. So I think the mistake that they're making is, I think you're kind of half right. They're trying to match the men's game in terms of let's have all these groups, all these qualifiers, so it's really hard to get into the World Cup. When realistically, you've probably only got enough professional teams to make the World Cup from the professional teams that already exist. I don't think a qualifying campaign with 7, 8, 9, 10, 20-0 is kind of
Marinos.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. You look at England's qualifying campaigns, and I'm not saying the men's is perfect because we have so many pointless matches with England men's team in the qualifiers, but I really want to see women's football succeed. And I've seen Liverpool women podcasts. I've seen, the big lady professional players all start to return to the Premier. There was this time where they all went to the French league or to Barcelona, and they've all started to return. So I really want to see it succeed. I think it's really good. You've got Chelsea, Arsenal, FA Cup final coming up with some of the best players in the world on each side. So I think you've both made amazing points in that. I think they just need to kind of narrow it down slightly in terms of including all of these.
The format of the game.
Format, I think, could potentially be. But I agree with Courtney. The ball, the pitch, the goal should stay the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it is around format, isn't it? And how do they best get the right format for the game in order for it to be competitive? You don't want to see 20-0s.
Nah.
But even in the men's game, when that 10-0 game against, who did we play? Them part-timers.
San Marino,
San Marino. Like, why are we even playing that fixture?
I mean, pointless.
Why are we even turning up there? Surely, if Latvia is it, go and play against Scotland.
Yeah, there should be a 2-tier system. I think maybe.
Yeah, it's like with when we see our boys play on Sundays. This is my comparison to it. You can see if there's a mismatch, because if one team's getting played off the park, guess what? In the next set of fixtures, those two don't meet each other. You don't play them because they're getting nothing from it. There's no development from it. There's nothing to be gained. What have England gained from parking off that team 20-0? What have they gained from that?
They probably just a training session for them.
It's a training session, right? Yeah. And again, because
goalkeeper up front so they can bag a goal.
That's what I'm saying.
There's 4 hat tricks tonight.
Yeah, but then you get the whole. Then I'm surprised that the whole conversation of club versus country doesn't creep in that kind of result there, because those ladies are likely to have games on the weekend or whenever their games are coming up. And the WSL is getting really competitive. Arsenal are doing extremely well. City at one point were doing well. Chelsea, in Emma Hayes, have a fantastic manager.
I think quality.
Yeah, I think that Emma Hayes, honestly, I think she could potentially be the first lady to make the jump from women's football into men's football into the highest level of the game. Like I've watched some stuff with Emma Hayes, and she is so highly regarded at Chelsea. Like, they love her. So I think she could potentially make that move. There was an approach from Wimbledon, wasn't there?
Yeah, she kind of laughed it off, didn't she, when it happened?
Yeah, she's like, I've got a better job. I was like, wow. But I can see that. A fair play to her, because Chelsea, didn't they go like unbeaten for like a whole season and stuff like they're unreal. So they play some top quality football. I just think that where I don't see the benefit in hammering a team of not even part-timers. those ladies that play in that Latvian team, they probably do. Let's say they probably do an hour's training a week. Like they don't have the facilities that those ladies that are playing in England have. You know, some of those guys have played at Olympic Lyon.
Yeah, they were a serious team for a while.
Serious team.
Yeah.
They've played at Olympic Lyon. In terms of ladies football, they are a serious outfit.
It's just sparse though, like with women. Like if you think about it, if you go into like a high school for the lads team, you'll have to have trials, lads getting knocked back. So many people are trying to go for it. The girls team, you're literally scrimping and scraping, trying to get every girl that you can that'll possibly just do it. And honestly, I had so many arguments playing for school because one girl, she's not even facing the right way. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I put her to tears. Bless her, I put her in tears because I just went mad. But this is what you face as a girl. Like, this is what you face as a girl because you're literally like,
listen, Courtney, I can assure you, these same challenges do happen in lads football as well at school age. Sometimes you just get a lad that gets like thrust in to turn up for practice, and you're like, dude, if he makes it to the team, we're gonna beast him. Like because there is no way. Like he can't even kick a ball. How are you putting him on the team? So no, I do see that.
Tall bullying. Can't even hold the laces.
I do. I see what you mean. But you're right. That like again, running a young football club myself, you know, there's always this big thing about you need to get a Wildcats team, which is young girls. You need to get a Wildcats team. And it's like that would be great to go out and get a Wildcats team, but you see, and again, I see the statistics in terms of dropout rate for girls in the game at certain ages. The dropout rate is super high, super high. But that's down to a number of different things, you know, format of the game, other commitments, you know, things to do with gender as well, in terms of some of the, you know,
as well.
Yeah, like things to do with like obviously the stuff that happens to ladies that doesn't happen to men. Do you know what I mean? That has an effect also on ladies participating in the game. You know, commitments in terms of job and family life and pay and so on and so forth. You see the American women fight for so long for equal pay with the men's national team because the women's national team was bringing in double the money. And they were like, hold on, we're bringing in more revenue than them when you're paying us less. So I do think the ladies' game has got quite a way to go. And I just wish they would try and blaze their own trail rather than kind of walk in the shadow almost of the men's game.
It's heading in the right direction though. Like if you look at like the campaigns and stuff like that, like She Can, things like that. They are pushing for it.
Yes.
For like women in sport.
And rightly so.
It's not just football, it's all sports with women.
And rightly so. I think tennis had the same thing as well about ladies getting paid.
I think they do now, don't they? Wimbledon.
Equal prize money. Yeah, no, and didn't Djokovic was really controversial about that, wasn't he? Was it Djokovic that was? I think he was. I think he was very controversial. But I think it's right. I think that, you know, ultimately that game or the ladies' game is its own advert for the ladies' game. So they should be remunerated accordingly. And with the investment now in the WSL, I think it is literally only a small time away before, especially in the UK, the ladies' game becomes a huge attraction for young, not only young girls but for men to go and watch ladies' games. Or is it Chris Brack from the Day Trippers takes his daughter to all the Liverpool games, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Liverpool women are top of the equivalent of the Championship in the women's game. So hopefully Liverpool as a club can start to continue to put the same kind, well, not the same kind of finances, but a lot more finances to make the women's team as competitive as the men's team. Because like you say, you've got Chelsea, Arsenal, City, Liverpool. Let's be fair, we need to be in the top league, don't we? Let's be honest.
But mate, like again, and like, you know, as we do on this show, we always praise the good things that Liverpool do, but we also call out the bad. One thing that I read about Liverpool Football Club is that the ladies, they're not on the same, not at Kirkby with the men. They're not there.
No,
Yeah,
they
they're-
like Tranmere and stuff they play, don't they? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and if you see the facilities that they've got, it's a bit shoddy
Yeah, it's
in
not really fair, is it?
in comparison to the facilities that like an Arsenal have got, like a City have got, Manchester United have got, a Chelsea have got. We should be putting our ladies in
Yeah.
the same. It's big enough. Why can't the
100%.
ladies be on the same complex? That's how you will elevate the women's game, and it just doesn't seem that Liverpool
Totally agree.
at this point are behind it. They're too busy investing their money in an NHL, in an NHL team, or an NFL team. But we'll get onto that in another show, guys.
That was good.
We've digressed for the last 25 minutes about ladies football, which has been good. We also like these little Q&As at the end, don't we? But we've been the Red Sea podcast. SS, what have we got coming up this week?
Yeah, so we'll be having Red Sea full time right here tomorrow after the game against Everton, and we'll be doing a Wolves preview before the weekend's game, probably Thursday, Friday. I don't know when you want to start launching the Premier League show.
We could do it on Friday.
We could. So yeah, we got that coming up, and then obviously we'll have the Wolves Red Sea full time as well.
We will indeed. Right, this has been Courtney B, our resident ladies centre back.
I'm right back.
Listen, after you've done your cruise ship league,
Trent
you need to get back into that centre back.
Or not.
It is war tomorrow. LJ, big shout out to you. Guys, if you are not already, please like and subscribe to the show. I've seen a couple of new faces in here, people that we haven't encountered before. So make sure you are liking and subscribing before you leave. We are on the road to 600 subs, and please be one of those. This is my...
It's difficult, isn't it?
I
was like,
this
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
That
It's
way.
all opposite. It's weird.
Yeah, very, very strange. You would have thought we've been doing this a while. You would have thought I'd have realised by now. So this is Southern Scouser. Make sure you following him on Twitter. He needs to try and catch up to Courtney.
I think that one is failed now.
Long gone, that one. Pipe dream. Never mind.
15.7 now. 15.7.
Thank
you.
Well, I've been Tiago's father. Thank you for joining us for the Red Sea podcast, FAB 4. We are over and we are out.